The metallic sound of metal things rubbing appeared from the floor of the auction stage as it slowly opened after the appearance of the energy ring. A stairway was extended underground. It appeared in front of the gazes of a countless number of people in the auction ground. A golden-robed elder immediately carried a smile and slowly walked out after the stairs appeared. The moment he appeared, majestic aura slowly swept out of his body. Under this frightening aura, the nosiness within this enormous auction ground had become completely silent. What a strong aura! I think that this person should be the sect leader of the Black Emperor sect, Mo Tianxing, right? Xiao Yan narrowed his eyes and studied the golden-robed elder before exclaiming, "Yes." Little fairy doctor vaguely nodded. This Mo Tianxing was not weaker than the old man who would not die from the 10,000 scorpion gate back then. He was likely even a little stronger. Haha, the old me is Mo Tianxing. I think that quite a number of friends know me. Today, my Black Emperor sect is organizing an auction, so the old me shall first thank everyone for joining us. Mo Tianxing, who had appeared, slowly swept his gaze around him. His gaze would pause for a moment each time it passed a certain point. His clear laughter reverberated beside the ear of every single person within the auction grounds. Mo Tianxing's words also stirred a laugh from some of the factions in the VIP seats. The Black Emperor sect was an old faction in the Black Corner region that had not fallen after so many years. It also possessed a wide network of friends. Mo Tianxing himself had also befriended people from all over the place. Quite a number of experts present had a deep or shallow friendship with him. Mo Tianxing also laughed when he heard this laughter. His eyes immediately shifted, taking one glance around the place before stopping at a spot within the VIP area. It was coincidentally the seats of Xiao Yan's three-man group. His gaze focused on Xiao Yan. Sensing Mo Tianxing's gaze, the eyes under Xiao Yan's black robe were lifted. They looked at one another and the former immediately gave him a warm, friendly smile. Haha, I think that everyone has great expectations for this auction. Therefore, the old me shall not say any more words that will cause resentment. Mo Tianxing laughed faintly under the focus of the countless number of gazes. However, the old me shall give everyone a reminder. I think that everyone here knows the rules of the auction. If any blind person wishes to act wildly in the territory of my Black Emperor sect, the old me shall give that person some hard words of warning in front of the many people here. I will let you suffer a fate where you can neither beg to live nor die. The enormous auction became completely silent after Mo Tianxing's words that had a dense cold meaning. Even the faces of some fierce and ruthless people changed as they looked at Mo Tianxing's merciless eyes. They immediately began to quietly withdraw some of their irregular thoughts. He is indeed worthy of being an elite Dozong. This demeanor, Xiao Yan could not resist shaking his head as he sensed the sternness within Mo Tianxing's words. Able to rely on just his might to deter the experts who had come from all over this Black Corner region. An elite Dozong was actually this powerful. Haha, next, we will invite everyone to enjoy the grand auction of my Black Emperor sect. Mo Tianxing spoke with a smile after seeing that the deterrent effect had been achieved. The sternness in his eyes had completely vanished in an instant. He once again cupped his hands toward a couple of spots in the VIP seats after his words sounded. After which, he slowly withdrew from the auction stage. The ground of the auction stage parted once again after Mo Tianxing withdrew. A couple of paths surfaced and a white-haired lively old man walked out with a smile. A group of pretty female servants carried silver plates made their way onto the stage like butterflies behind him. After which, they would respectfully place the silver plate on the prepared auction tables. Looking down from above, Everyone could see that there were some silver plates that radiated with a faint light. Hey, next will be our auction appetizer. A scroll containing a finger dough technique. The white-haired old man smiled as he pointed at a silver plate in front of him. There was a snow-white scroll placed on it. Sky feather finger, XUN class middle level. A finger dough technique is usually quite rare. Although it is somewhat difficult to practice, it is able to gain the element of surprise when fighting with other people. Everyone seated here is not ordinary. I think that you should all be aware of how difficult it is to deal with a finger dough technique. The white-haired old man picked up the scroll and softly laughed. According to the true price of the sky feather finger, the starting bid must be above 300,000. Since it is the first item, the sect leader has said that the starting bid can be set at only 100,000. Moreover, the cap is 800,000. The first person to offer this price will obtain this sky feather finger regardless of whether anyone behind offers a higher price. Everyone, you must not miss out on this opportunity. This white-haired old man had clearly been auctioning for a long time. He seemed to be unusually experienced at doing so. He merely applied a simple sales tactic and had instantly stirred the atmosphere within the auction ground. 100,000 gold coins was nothing for most of the people seated in this place. Moreover, this sky feather finger was indeed, as the former had said. Its true price far exceeded this 100,000. Hence, bids were immediately being shouted one after another within this enormous auction ground after the old man's words sounded. Hearing the waves of bidding voices around him, even Exio Yan could not help but look at this white-haired old man in a new light. It was unexpected that this Black Emperor sect was really filled with talent. Exio Yan had planned to search for a dough technique that he was satisfied with in this auction. Although he had some interest in a so-called finger dough technique, he did not have the intention of auctioning for this sky feather finger. This dough technique's level was a little low and did not possess much of an attraction to him. With Exio Yan's current eyesight, any dough technique other than those of the D class would have difficulty making him feel interested. After all, the current him was no longer that tender, young novice from back then who would become extremely happy when Yao Lao would randomly toss him a dough technique. Exio Yan's body gently leaned against the soft backrest of the chair, and his eyes were slightly narrowed. He knew that the auction had just begun. The truly good things were still to come. The early items would not garner the slightest attraction for most of the people in the VIP seats. Not a single person in the VIP seats had opened their mouths to call out a bid for this so-called sky feather finger. Exio Yan's finger gently tapped on the armrest. He could not help but shake his head as he heard the rising price within the auction ground. The original 100,000 price had already soared to 570,000 by the simple tactic of the old man. Moreover, from the looks of it, it seemed that there was no sign of it slowing. Exio Yan appeared to be watching a show. This bidding continued for around 15 minutes before it gradually came to a stop. At this moment, that 100,000 price tag had already been raised to the ceiling price, which was 800,000. The white-haired old man smiled as he listened to the gradual cessation of the bids. 800,000. This had already exceeded the worth of this dough technique. If it was a usual auction, it was likely that it would have difficulty reaching this price. However, an unexpected bumper was obtained because of that extremely low 100,000 starting bid. The silver hammer in the old man's hand gently knocked 3 times on the auction platform. After which, that XUN class middle level sky feather finger was smoothly auctioned off. The atmosphere within the auction ground was stirred after this good opener. Taking advantage of this fiery heat, the white-haired auctioneer continued to bring forward other objects to be auctioned. By relying on the good quality of these auctioned items and the provocative flattering of the white-haired old man, these items were all sold for relatively good prices. It seemed that the Black Emperor sect would indeed earn until their coffers overflowed because of this auction. However, it must be said that it was not by fluke that the auction that the Black Emperor sect had held this time around had attracted so many people. From the looks of the quality of these auctioned objects, they could be considered the rarest ones that Exio Yan had seen. Of course, this kind of rarity was judged based on the eyes of most people. The things that would cause experts of Exio Yan's level to be interested in had yet to appear. With the flow of time, the auction gradually began to approach and are under a fiery hot atmosphere. The atmosphere within the auction grounds accompanied the increasing quality of the auctioned items. By the time this kind of fiery heat was maintained for 2 hours, some of the auctioned items that had appeared were able to cause some experts in the VIP seats to offer a competing bid. Some of the items even gave Exio Yan the impulse to cry out a bit. However, after weighing his thoughts a little, he continued to remain silent. It was best to choose something suitable when purchasing items. With the presence of the heavyweights from the VIP seats competing with each other in the bidding, the atmosphere within the auction ground became even hotter. The factions that came to participate in this auction came from all over the Black Corner region. Therefore, most of the people here did not see eye to eye. When some of the factions with enmity collided, they would definitely go all out to increase the bid. The momentum of attempting to crush the other party caused quite a number of people watching to feel stunned. They were indeed the renowned factions from the Black Corner region. This great wealth and gruff attitude was far from what an ordinary person could compare with. Exio Yan involuntarily felt the urge to smile from his dumbfoundedness in the face of these people who had competed until their eyes and necks turned red. His body lazily leaned against the backrest, and the teacup in his hand gently swayed. The tea within it formed numerous ripples. Through Exio Yan's observing eyes, the white-haired old man on the auction stage auctioned off a sharp weapon in his hand that had a rank 5 monster core inserted into it. After which, he received a silver plate from a female servant's hands by the side with a mysterious look on his face. There was a bright red fire-like scroll on the silver plate. Haha, everyone, this Do technique is quite rare. This is because it is a ruler technique. Although it is somewhat unorthodox, its class is quite high, having already reached the D class middle level. Moreover, it is rumored that this was left behind by a Do Zun ancestor who had dominated the continent a couple centuries ago. Its value is quite extraordinary. Hearing the white-haired old man mention a ruler technique, Exio Yan, who was leaning lazily against the backrest of his chair, suddenly felt his heart move. His interested gaze was thrown toward the auction stage for the first time.